To say that there's been a bit of a pipeline established between North Dakota State and the NFL may be a bit of an understatement at this point. And that includes a group of players from small towns in North Dakota to the NFL. One of our pro Bison wants to keep it that way. Cordell Volson has started his own foundation to help inspire athletes in rural areas and keep facilitating those big dreams. This cause, aptly named the Small Town Big Dreams Foundation, is one way that Volson's looking to give back to the communities that raised him. Volson, a Balfour, North Dakota native, is a former national champion at North Dakota State and current starting offensive lineman for the Cincinnati Bengals. One way that Volson's been helping inspire these young athletes is by just visiting schools in these areas, answering any questions that the kids may have, and showing them firsthand what can happen with hard work and determination. Cordell talked to us a bit this afternoon about his experience so far with these visits.
I think if, a 8, 9, 10-year-old Cordell could have gotten to meet or shake hands with an NFL player, how cool that would have been. So to have that opportunity to now, do that for the youth around our state and to inspire them to chase whatever dreams that they have. I think it's a duty of mine to take that upon myself and encourage kids to do that. All the kids have been really respectful and attentive, and I'm really appreciative of that, and really appreciative of all the schools that have reached out and given me the opportunity to come and do that.
On the subject of former Bison, in case you missed our update earlier today, we now know where one of our homegrown products has landed in the transfer portal. Jamestown's own Bowden Scunberg announced his commitment to Illinois State this afternoon. They're members of the Missouri Valley Conference and defeated North Dakota State this past season back in December. Bowden was North Dakota State's leader in points and rebounds last season. He's the 5th member of the team to leave through the transfer portal. Here's a full rundown of departures since the season came to a close. The runner-up on the scoring and rebounding charts also committed to a Power 5 team. Andrew Morgan joining the Nebraska Cornhuskers of the Big Ten. Josh Streit and Lance Waddles are staying within the Summit League, both joining the Omaha Mavericks, and Sam Hofstreiter is taking his talents across the river, joining the MSUM Dragons. And we've had a couple of North Dakota hockey updates today. First up, a departure. Jackson Blake is officially going pro, signing his entry-level deal with the Carolina Hurricanes of the NHL. It's a 3-year contract with different dollar values depending on whether he's on the main roster or with their AHL affiliate. Blake has become a force in the last couple of years, including a 60-point effort this season. But I do have some good news, UND fans. The team announced that Cameron Berg is returning next season. The West Fargo native finished this past season with 37 points, including 20 goals and 17 assists. So while they're obviously losing quite the playmaker in Jackson Blake, that kind of feels like a low.
Those levels of players tend to not stick around for real long, but then they get to that
Cam
point.
Berg hanging around is huge, and we'll see how they're able to rebuild after this. They've already gotten a few through the portal, so we'll see what happens next season. We got a little bit to go until hockey season starts.
So we're planning way ahead here.
I like to jump ahead a little bit from time to time.
Russ is back in with one more look at your forecast. Some very warm temperatures this weekend.